We started out on this journey in what we call coffle lines. They were called the coffle lines, the collections of us, the groups of us that were marched across the continent. Most of us came from West Africa, the area of Ghana and that general area. But we were walked across in what was called coffle lines. And again,
even the rain couldn't wash away the stains that remained from the trails of blood and tears. Years of colorful lines of captured Africans remain closed captured in my mind as my ancestors whispered to me, remember, Kebuka. Kebuka is the word I heard as if I were there to hear the screams and wallows of those being oppressed, undressed of their human identity by the Urugu. Yesterday and today's African's natural enemy, Kebuka. I see mouths of chains remains as souls were rearranged by the estranged, as they were forced into those dungeons one by one. Women separated from men, girls away from boys like toys. These beasts enjoyed watching the rage of encaged Africans who knew not what tomorrow had in store. Kebuka. Branded like cattle, this battle was imminent. The criminal intent of these European homos brought on pestilence and disease. The unease of these African slaves of barbarism led many to nameless graves. Days upon days before they were bound to months of savagery out in the sea. Kebuka. I can recall the countless amounts of rape that remained deposited in my memory banks. Nothing could subtract the madness that had multiplied from years of aggression from those pale-faced oppressors, child, man, and women molesters, neglectors of humanity, who has brought nothing but insanity in us African beings. I can't stop seeing the murders of those who rebelled from the bowels of hell, or those who forcibly fell off the ships after the numerous strikes from whips. Kebuka. I seen Africans stacked in those cellar cells with not more than an inch to dwell. Feces fell while urine streamed. This living nightmare has those still sleep craving the American dream. I seen men stripped of their dignity while children and women were forced to sleep with the enemy, who had become Euros and Arabs' biggest commodity. I seen men raping men, nothing but savagery and sodomy. Kebuka. Sunken ships were uncharted of those that had departed when the Africans rebelled in the Kemetic Ocean. These were unwritten documents of the motion sickness that was plagued before reaching the unfamiliar land. It was the demand of Africans that these voyages continued. Our ancestors were prime meat on these devils' menu. Kebuka. Force-fed to survive, to disguise the heinous brutalities. The audacity of their books to attempt to sugarcoat our historical realities. Even their so-called Holocaust couldn't amount to the African fatalities, when in actuality we lost millions on the Kemetic Ocean, and the Jews are the ones who made fortunes, leaving us working in the fields with no salaries. Kebuka.
Don't sit here and assume for half a second that they didn't carry on with us what they did with their own. They practiced on themselves and animals and each other, the men, before they got to us. They were experienced in sadism. They were experienced in rape. They understood rape as a weapon. European male's penis is the first biological weapon.